Good morning, students, and the topic today which we are going to discuss is program instruction. Now, the learning objectives of today's topic are meaning of program instructions means you will be able to define that this is the concept and meaning of program instruction. Purpose of program instructions. These are the various purposes of a program instruction. Characteristics of program instruction. What are the different characteristics of a program instruction? Types of program instructions, different types of program instructions. Linear programming, the concept of a linear program. Characteristics of a linear program. Scope of linear program. Now, definition. A program instruction is a method of self instruction, means it's a way or the technique of teaching where we can call it's a self instructions that enlist machines or specially prepared books to teach information, means it's enlist use of machines or specially prepared books to teach informations to the student, and this definition was given by Caris Jordan. Now the purpose to manage human learning under controlled conditions means it's a way or it's a technique through which we can control human learning, or we can say we are managing the human learning under controlled conditions. To promote learning at the pace of the learner means we are promoting the learning at the pace of the learner, how much he wants to learn, at what time he wants to learn, to present the material in small pieces. The whole content is presented before the students in small pieces, or we can say that the whole content or the topic will be divided into small pieces, and that information or that material that has been divided into the small pieces will be presented in front of the learners to provide quicker responses. Now, it gives the opportunity to the students to reply quickly. Now, the different characteristics. The subject matter is broken down into small steps. Means in this method or the way of teaching, the subject matter is broken down into small steps called frames. And what do we call those broken down into small steps? And it is known as frames. And arranged sequentially means it should be arranged in a proper sequential order. Frequent response of the student is required when the teach students are learning with this particular method. We required from the students a frequent response means they cannot take a long time to respond. There is an immediate confirmation of the right answer means as the student has given the answer, they will get whether that answer is correct or not, means an immediate confirmation of the right answer is possible or correction of wrong answer given by the learner. And this method is also giving the students an opportunity to correct the wrong answer. Self correcting feature is that which is giving the students the opportunity to correct their wrong answers by themselves. The content and the sequence of the frames are subject to actual try out by students and are revised on the basis of data gathered by the program. Subjected to actual tryout by the students and can be revised on the basis of the data which has been collected by the programmer. Each student progress at his own pace means the students are learning at his own pace. Every individual learns at his own pace without any threat of being exposed, and they are not in a condition where they has been in a threatening position that they will be exposed, that they had not uh, given the right answer, they do not have the clue of what has to be given the correct answer, to any humiliation in heterogeneous class. Sometimes students do not want to reply because they do not want the humiliation in front of the class. So that possibility of humiliation is being lessened down when the teacher is teaching with this particular method. The assumptions about the learner is clearly stated in the program learning material. The objectives underlying programming instructions are defined explicitly and in operational terms. Means all objectives had been clearly defined or stated when the teacher is teaching with the program instructions, so that the terminal behavior is made observable and measurable. And in terms of terminal behavior, we made means that that behavior can be easily observed by the teacher and it can be easily measured. Now, it can be easily measured means how much they have learned a particular behavior and what changes has been made in their particular behavior. The interaction between the teacher and the program is emphasized in program learning. So, we are giving emphasis on the interaction which is being had between the learner and the program. Continuous evaluation is possible by recording the student response. And when the teacher is teaching with the program instruction method, we are saying that continuous evaluation of the learners are possible through this method by recording the students response, how the student are responding to a particular question. The strategy provides sufficient situations for teaching the students to discriminate between a range of possibilities and reduce generalizations. Now, types of program instructions. There are three different types of program instructions. The first one is linear programming, second one is branching or string style programming, and the third one is computer assisted instructions. Now, types of program instructions linear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are the frames, etc. can be framed. Branching program, these are the plans, and on the basis of the test, we have to refer whether we have given the right answer or it will be given by the wrong answer. Today, we are going to discuss about the linear programming. Now, what do you mean by linear programming? In linear programming, the learner responses are controlled externally by the programmer sitting at a distance space. Means when we are talking about the linear programming, we are saying that the learner responses, how the learner is responding to a particular question or a statement, is controlled externally by the programmer sitting at a distance space. A linear programming is called straight line program. Another name which is given to the linear programming is a straight line program. Now, it's a linear plan or a linear design. The first module first. First, we have to divide the content into small frames. Now, the first one is the module 1, means the topic 1 will be divided into small frames, and after the topic 1, there will be a quiz 1, topic 2 there will be a quiz 2, and in the same way there will be, as the topic increases there will be the quizzes increases, and in the end the student has to pass the exam first and then only he can move to the second module. The learner starts from initial behavior to the terminal behavior following a straight line. The students proceed from one frame to the next unit, he completes the program. Characteristics of linear programming. Linear programming are exposed to a small amount of information. Means when a programmer is setting a program on the basis of the linear, then that programmer has to cut the whole amount of information into small pieces or into small frames. Are exposed to a small amount of information means whole information, total information is not presented in front of the learners. The amount of information are presented in small and proceed from one frame or one item of information to the next in an orderly fashion. And the student is proceeding from one frame to another frame of information in an proper order. The learner responds overtly, so their correct responses can be rewarded and incorrect responses can be corrected. Now, after reading the first amount of information, there are two or three questions which can be developed or framed on the basis of the information that has been shared by the programmer. Then, now, if the student has given the correct response, the correct response can be rewarded, and the incorrect responses can be corrected by the learner. The learner are immediately informed about whether or not their responses is correct or not. Means the student will able to know whether he has given the right answer or he has given the wrong answer for a particular statement or question. The learner proceed at their own pace, self-pacing. How much information they want to learn today. Now, scope of linear programming, elementary education. Generally, there are single teacher in certain schools. When we are talking about a school, we are saying at the elementary level, sometimes there are only a single teacher in certain schools and are required to teach all the subjects. And that particular teacher has to teach all the subjects to the learners. Linear programming will help teachers in such situations. The teachers can use the linear programmer for teaching the students, and it can be a very helping hand for the teachers to deal with these situations in these particular situations. Now, secondary education. In secondary education, diversity of interest and curriculum necessitates this method. And when we are talking about the secondary education, diversity means there is so much diversity among the learners. If interest among the interests and curriculum necessities and different necessities of a particular curriculum, this method can be a best method. Now, correspondence education. For high school students, self instruction could be made possible if the correspondence lessons are programmed. For school teachers, when a new course is being introduced, when a new syllabus, a new curriculum has been introduced, a new topic has been added for a particular course, program instruction will equip them. The program instruction will help the teachers to equip themselves with the particular course or with the particular content, with content and new methods of teaching and different methods of teaching that they can use to teach the students. University education standards of higher education can be maintained. It can be useful in maintaining the standards. Can be applied for health oriented courses, health centers, professional education. Means linear programming can be applied or can be used in health oriented courses also. Now, principles of linear programming. The first one is principle of small step. A learner can proceed from knowing very little about a subject to mastery over the subject by going through a program. Now, what we are saying that when the teacher is teaching the students with the linear program, then the whole amount of information will not be shared by the teacher. The teacher will share small amounts of information to the learners, and with gaining the knowledge on the small frames, on the small steps, the student will master over the same subject. Principle of confirmation. In this kind of reinforcement to work on the program or to learn, a learner need not wait for a long time to proceed to the next level. Means he will get the confirmation whether the answer which has been given by him is correct or it's incorrect. Principle of self-pacing means every learner will learn at his own pace. The learner can work each step as slowly or as quickly as he chooses. Means he can take or learn a frame at his own pace, whether he wants to learn that content very slowly or he wants to master that particular frame very quickly. It's all about his pacing, and the decision has to be taken by the learner itself. Now, student testing and evaluation. Linear programming provides a detailed record of the students and is the basis for revising the program. Now, provides a detailed record of the student, how they have responded to that particular program, how they learn through that particular program. Means everything has been recorded. A detailed record of the student and is the basis for revising the program. On the basis of the responses of the learner, redesigning or revising the program can be made. There can be certain changes that can be included uh, with the help of the responses, with the help of the information that we have received from the responses of the learner. Now, types of linear programming. Construct response. This is a Skinnerian type of learning process. Means that process or that linear programming has been given by the Skinner, and it is based on the Skinner approach of learning, the method of learning given by the Skinner. The learner has to construct responses. Means in this approach, the learner has to construct their responses while going through such formats of program text. Now, they have to give the response. On the basis of the response, they will get the information whether they have mastered that particular information or not. So the learner has to construct the responses while going through such formats. Means such formats, the program that is based on linear programming. Such formats of program text. Multiple choice questions means in linear programming, when a programmer has deciding to construct or develop a lesson plan or a program on the basis of linear programming, then he can give multiple choice questions. Sandly and Pressy selected a response on each frame. Means the student has to give response on each frame. Means there will be a frame on which some particular information will be shared by the program. On the basis of the information which has been shared by the programmer will construct or frame some multiple choice questions and is presented. and these multiple choice questions will be presented in the discrimination frame sequence type of program, and that multiple choice questions will be based on the information that has been shared by the programmer in the discrimination frame sequence type of program. Conventional chaining. John Barlow designed this type. Means this design, the conventional chaining, was given by the John Barlow. Here, each frame is connected to the second frame. Means there is a connection between the first frame and the second frame. Means the information which is being shared in the first frame is connected with the information that is being uh, with the second frame. Means there is a connection between the information shared in the first frame and the information that has to be shared in the second frame, which become part of the stimulus of the third, and so on down the line. And the second frame will work as a part of the stimulus, means it will motivate the students to know much more about that particular topic or concept. Means it is stimulating, motivating, encouraging the students to get the knowledge further knowledge on that particular concept or topic. Now, skip linear uses skipping devices for solving problems. Means we can use this technique or this device for solving problems. Means it will help the students to get the solution of a particular problem of review and over review, where a bright student may skip the simple program. Now, what will happen when a programmer will design a program, will frame a program? He will design the program or frame the program keeping in mind the diverse learners. That program is not only being programmed for the gifted, for the above average students, or uh, not for the average students or the below average. That program will be framed for all the learners. So it might happen that a gifted or a above average learner might think that that information that has been shared in that particular frame is very simple, and he can escape this information and can move to the second frame. So this type of skipping the simple programs is called as skip learner. uh, Whereas average or a below average student will never skip that particular frames or that particular frames that has been sharing the particular information. Now, criterion frames. This is used to direct the learners. Means these type of frames are used by the programmer to direct the learner, to give the directions to the learner along the linear path according to the responses at those critical situations. Along the linear path, the path which they are following, according to their responses, how they are responding to that particular situations at those critical situations. The criterion frames decide whether the student should go through a particular sequence or not. Now, the criterion information will decide whether the student should go through a particular sequence or should not go to a particular sequence. Now, the next one is Rulex system. The content are organized in terms of rules first and then the example. When a programmer is designing or framing a linear program on the basis of Rulex system, now at that time the programmer has to organize the content in terms of, now he has to first present the rule before the learners, and then he has to present the various rules of various examples related to that particular rule. Now, the first one, the he has to decide what content has to be presented for that particular program. First thing, after deciding that content that this should be presented through this particular linear program, that content has to be organized, and organization of the content should be done in such a way that first rule should be present before the learner, and then the programmer will present the examples, and these examples should be related to the rules which he has already shared with the learner. The rule is given in a complete form and the examples are in incomplete form. So the content that has been organized, it should be organized in such a way that the rule should be presented, the rule should be defined to the learners, in front of the learners, in a complete manner, and the examples are in incomplete form, and the examples that are being presented uh, through the program in front of the learners, they should can work can be presented in an incomplete form. A learner has to contain responses to complete the example. Now, what is the role of the learner? Now, the learner has to construct responses. They will work that what will be the correct answer for that particular example. A learner has to construct responses to complete the example, and he is constructing the responses to complete the examples that are being presented by the programmer in an incomplete form. Now, the next one is EG rule system. This is opposite to the rulic system, means total opposite to the system that we have just discussed, where the rule has been presented first, and then on the basis of those rules, we the programmer gives some examples. The content are organized in terms of examples and then the rules. Now, what will the programmer will do to develop the program accordingly to the EG rule system? The content has to be organized in such a way that the programmer first present a numerous number of examples related to that particular topic or content. First, he will present numerous examples in front of the learner related to that particular concept, and then, after the presentation of those examples, he will present the rules, the rules related to those content or topic which he is going to teach to the learner. The examples are given in complete form, and the examples that has been given by the programmer is in complete form, and the rules in incomplete forms, and the rules that has been presented by the examiner are in incomplete form. So, what will be the role of the learner? The role of the learner is that on the basis of the examples that they have learned, they have mastered, on the basis of those informations, they have to complete the rules that has been presented in front of them with the programmer. Now, so, students, today we have discussed the instructional approach, and then we have discussed the different type of instructional approach. Then we have come to know that there are three types of instructional approach. The first one is linear, the second one is branching, and the third one is computer assisted instruction. Then we have discussed about the linear programming. Then we have discussed the types of linear programming, how the information can be presented by the programmer by using the different programming methods. And then we have discussed about the various principles of linear programming. So, further reading on this topic, you can refer these references. Now, let us discuss some MCQs, as MCQs are the best way to know the learning outcomes of a learner, how much you have learned a particular concept that has been taught to you. Now, the first one is a dash instruction is a method of self-instruction. Means which method is a method or a way of self-instructions that enlist machines or specially prepared books to teach information, and that it's enlisted machines or special books has been prepared to teach the students the particular information. So the options are A program, B linear, C branching, or it's D all the above given choices. So these are the options. Now you have to select the correct one, and the correct answer will be yes, the correct answer will be option A, that is program. So we can say a program instruction is a method of self instruction. Now the second one, program instruction manage human dash under controlled conditions. Now, program instructions is managing human what under controlled conditions, means what will be the correct answer for the given question. Now, the options are A learning, B teaching, C class, or it's D students. So students, you have to select the correct one on the basis of the given choices. And what will be the correct answer? Yes, what will be the correct answer? And the correct answer will be option A, that is learning. So we can say that program instruction manage human learning under controlled conditions. Now, program instruction promote learning at the pace of the dash. Now, the program instruction is promoting learning at the pace of what? Or the pace of who? Now, the options are A. Linear, B. Teaching, C. Class, or it's D. Teacher. So, student, these are the options, and now you have to select the correct one on the basis of the given choices. And the correct answer will be yes. What will be the correct answer? The correct answer will be option A, that is learner. So, we can say that program instructions promotes learning, means encourages learning at the pace of the learner, means at what time and how much he wants to learn a particular concept. Now, the fourth one, the subject matter is broken down into small steps called. What do we call that strategy or that technique in which the subject matter is broken down into small steps, and what do we call that? Now, the options are A. Frames, B. Teacher, C. Learner, or it's D. Steps. So, student, these are the choices, and now you have to select the correct one on the basis of the given choices. And the correct answer is yes, the correct answer is option A, that is frame. So, the subject matter which is broken down into small steps is known as frames. Now, program instruction present the material in dash pieces. Now, how the information or the material is presented when we are using the program instructional technique. Now the options are A small, B long, C average, or it's D height. So student, these are the options. Now you have to select the correct one on the basis of the given choices, and what will be the correct answer. And the correct answer will be, yes, the correct answer will be option A, that is small. So we can say in program instruction, the material that has been presented through the program, in that this information is presented in small pieces in front of the learners. Now the sixth one, continuous dash is possible by recording the student's response. So by recording the student responses, what type of dash has been done? So the options are A evaluation, B frames, C measurement, or it's D assessment. So these are the choices, students. Now you have to select the correct one from the given choices, and the correct answer will be, yes, the correct answer will be option A, that is evaluation. So continuous evaluation is possible through program learning uh, while we are recording the students' responses. Now the seventh one, the dash underlining program instructions are defined explanatory and in operational terms. So, which has been defined through program instructions, and these are defined in an explanatory and in operational terms. So, the options are A objectives, B teaching, C learning, or it's D teacher. So, students, these are the options A, B, C, D. Now, you have to decide, or you have to tell me what will be the correct answer on the basis of the given choices. Yes, the correct answer will be option A, that is objectives. So we can say that the objectives are underlining program instructions, and that they are defined in explanatory and in operational terms. Now the eighth one, in dash, the contents are organized in terms of rule first and then the examples. Now, which technique is that in which we are designing or we are organizing the content in such a way that in that the first rules are presented before the learner through the program, and then the examples. Now the options are A ruling system, E e.g. rule system, C skip learner, or it's D criteria. So these are the options, students. Now you have to select the correct one on the basis of the given choices, and the correct answer will be, yes, the correct answer will be option A, that is through ruling system. The content is presented or organized by the programmer in such a way that first he will present the rules before the learner, and then the examples related to that content or subject matter. Now the ninth one, in program instruction, frequent response of the dash is required. In program instruction, whose frequent responses is required or needed. So the options are A student, whether it's a student whose response frequent response is required when we are teaching them through the program instruction strategy or the technique. B teacher, the frequent responses of the teachers are required. C the whole class, or the frequent responses of the school is required. So, students, these are the options, and now you have to select the correct one on the basis of the given choices. Yes, what will be the correct answer? The correct answer will be yes, the correct answer will be option A, that is students. So, we can say in program instruction, frequent responses of the students are required. Now, the 10th one, in dash feature, there is an immediate confirmation of the right answer or correction of wrong answer given by the learner. So, we are talking about which feature of linear programming, and that feature is giving an immediate confirmation of whether a correct answer or the right answer is given by the learner, or correction of wrong answer, or if he has given a wrong answer, then he has given the opportunity to correct that wrong answer given by the learner. So the options are A, self correcting, B, group correcting, C, panel correcting, or it's D, class correcting. So, students, these are the options A, B, C, D. Now, you have to select the correct one on the basis of the given choices, and the correct answer will be option A, that is self correcting. Means self correcting is a feature. There is an immediate confirmation to the learner whether they have given the right answer or they have given a wrong answer, and they have to correct the wrong answer. Thank you, students. With this particular narration, you have understood the concept of instructional approach. And then we have discussed about the different types of instructional approach, that is linear, branching, and computer assisted instruction. Then we have discussed today about the meaning and concept of linear programming. We have come to know that the whole amount of information is not shared by the programmer when a program is being made on the basis of linear programming. The content or the information is shared in front of the learners or presented to the learners in small frames. The students or the learners have given the opportunity to learn the concept or to master a concept at his own pace. The students will get the feedback whether they have given the correct answer or they have given the wrong answer. They have the options of correcting the wrong responses that has been given by them. And then we discuss about the distance various principles of linear programming and types of linear programming. So in the next class, we will discuss about branching, programming, and computer assisted instructions. Thank you so much, students. Thank you so much for your patience listening.